An angry customer decides to take matters into his own hands. He drove all the way to a contractor's home to confront him face to face after not completing a job. It is the latest in the saga surrounding this contractor we've been telling you about for the last week. Now at 3, Winnie Dorch has the body cam footage from when police arrived.
He owns Cleveland Custom Homes.
Okay.
He stole over $500,000 from me. He stole other clients' money and just stole it and walked away.
This body cam video shows Mohammed Montazer talking to Avon police. He was angry after he says the contractor he hired didn't finish building his dream home. So he went to Jeff Crawford's home on October 18th, late at night, to confront him. Crawford is a general contractor, owner of Cleveland Custom Homes. 19 News has been telling you about Crawford for more than a week now. He's accused of signing home building contracts, taking people's money, starting construction, and then walking off the job. Some call the work he did was substandard. This is all according to a lawsuit filed by the Ohio Attorney General's office. Montazer, frustrated, went looking for answers.
He hasn't done any work at my house since July.
Okay. What?
He hasn't picked up a phone call for me in 3 weeks.
All right.
So I just wanted to answer.
The officer then walked over to Crawford and his wife, who were standing outside.
Our attorney's dealing with their attorney. I don't think he likes what was just communicated to them yesterday, and he's not handling it the way it should be handled. It should be handled through the attorneys, not him coming to my house and threatening my family. We're doing the best we can. So.
Montazer explains to the officer he just wanted to have a conversation with Crawford.
He's been paid and wiped out my bank account with bank fraud.
When 19 News Investigates interviewed Montazer previously, he said he didn't see a problem going to Crawford's home.
He had stopped by my house numerous times in the middle of the night to collect money from me. Check, cash, whatever, like for the additional stuff that I added. He even sent his own daughter to pick up money from me. So what's the difference? I go at 10 o'clock, you came at 11 o'clock.
Why was it important for you to approach him?
I mean, I figured he should justify of how he stole our money.
19 News Investigates tried to get a response from Crawford about these allegations. We did reach out by phone and going to his home. He has yet to get back to us. In Cleveland, I'm Winnie Dorch, 19 News.